Perek Nun Aleph, page Ayin Aleph, which is opposite of page 140. So last week we started talking a little about we entered the discussion, and the question we have over here is what does it mean kedusha? What is kedusha? What is holiness? Kedusha is normally understood to be hashras hashchina, which means a place where the shchina, the divine presence, is present. But the question is, what does that mean? We know that Malay Chala Aretz Kuvayda, the entire world is filled with Hashem's glory. And also, as the Zohar says, Les Asar Poni Minei, there is no place which is devoid, which is empty of Hashem. So what makes one place holier than another place? If Hashem is everywhere, then what makes one place holier if Hashem is present in all places equally? Now last week we also spoke that this is true in terms of places, specifically the Beis HaMikdash, the Kodesh HaKodashim, but it's also true regarding there are certain days that are more holy than others. What does that mean? There are certain people who are holier than others. What does that mean? And in general, the whole concept of holiness will become clearer as we proceed through the following prakim. So we'll start in Perek Nun Aleph, 2 lines from the top. Second line from the top of the Perek. We first have to understand, to be able to understand a little inyan hashras hashchina, the concept of Perek Nun Aleph.
The third line? No.
Yeah, inyan hashras hashchina. What does it mean that the shchina is present and we know that the shchina was present in the Kodesh Kodashim? What does that mean? The also. Not only the Kodesh Kodashim. Kodesh Kodashim is obviously an extreme example. There was an incredible kedusha over there. But the truth is, any place where we say there's Hashras Hashchina, even when it says when 10 Yidden are sitting together and learning Torah, like we have right now here sitting in this room, so Shechina Sheira, what does that mean? What does it mean the Shechina is here? The Shechina is everywhere. Ma'in Yani, what does it mean? Haloi. Malay Chala Aretz Kuvayda, we know that the entire world is filled with Hashem's glory. Velas Asad, and there is no place which is Pani Minei, which is empty of Hashem. Acha Inyan, however, the idea is, Kidiksiv, as the Pasuk says in Iyov, Umibsari Echze Elika. From our flesh we can perceive Hashem. And this is something which is a big idea in Chassidus, which is that the underlying idea is that because the human being was created b'tzelem Elokim, vayivra Elokim es Adam b'tzelem Elokim, you know, that Hashem first created the human being. He said, Nasa Adam b'tzelmeinu kidmuseinu, we were created in the image of Hashem. What does that mean? We're created in the image of Hashem. Obviously, Hashem doesn't have any physical form. It's one of the Ikri Emunah. Hashem doesn't have any physical form, but it means that in a spiritual sense, somehow, our composition, both physical actually and spiritual, are a reflection of the way it is by Hashem.
That's why I said B'Tzalmenu Kidmutenu.
Yeah, but what does that mean?
That's mean we have to understand what the Torah, what Hashem wants from us. So he said B'Tzalmenu Kidmutenu, like us, normal. It's Bnei Adam, Tzelem, they understand. Dmut, they understand. You cannot say.
But what does it mean that we're in the image of Hashem? In which way are we similar to Hashem?
We're supposed to emulate him.
Emulate his behaviors, right? However, the fact is that we are similar to Hashem, and not only in one aspect or one feature. In fact, our entire being, is a reflection of the divine. Even the human body. You know that Hashem has
no form.
We're talking about we are a reflection of Hashem's spiritual form.
No, you don't say that, Shabbos, in our meeting, but those who say on engineer, that's what it's all about.
It's all about what?
The physicality of Hashem.
So Hashem definitely doesn't have physical form, and even the spiritual form that He has is.
No, Hashem puts out the film. Hashem does this. Hashem does that.
Okay. Without getting into this discussion too much, it's a discussion all for itself. But we know, for example, that Hashem has 10 spheres. Chachma, Bina, Das, Chesed, Gvura, Tiferes, Netzach, Hod, Yesod, Malchus. So not only do we also have these 10 koiches within ourselves, the human being also is comprised of all of them, and we're the only creation, by the way, only creation that is the full composite of Hashem's of 10 koiches, similar to the way it is by Hashem. There is no animal that's that way. There is no angel that's that way. Malach Machol is pure Sfiras, is pure Chesed. The human being is a composite, just like Hashem is a composite of all 10. The human being is, and even the physical body. As we know, the right hand is Chesed, the left hand is Gvura, and the brain is Chachma, Bina, and Das. The torso is Tiferes, etc. Even the human body is a physical reflection of Hashem's spiritual nature. And this is a gift that Hashem gave us. The gift that Hashem gave us is that we can look into ourselves and see the way we function, to see the way our anatomy works. We're talking specifically about our spiritual anatomy, and we can actually make deductions from this about Hashem. Because Hashem works in similar ways, because we were created in the same form. As we've mentioned in a previous time, in a previous year, I don't remember when, but I'm certain that we've mentioned it, that the truth is that it works in the reverse also. That if someone is a great tzaddik, and therefore is able to perceive and is able to see the way things are above, in Kedusha, in Hashem, in divinity, so that person can also draw deductions for the way the human body, and not the human body, but the human soul functions, and the human spiritual anatomy works. Most of us are not in that madriga. It's able to look at Hashem and see, and figure out things about ourselves, but it works the other way around. As Eiv says, "Mibsari echza leka." I look at my own flesh, and I can understand the way it is by Hashem. The same thing is, the answer of this question of what does it mean Kedusha, we'll be able to understand it by analyzing the way the neshama interacts with the body. So just like every single person, there's a neshama and there's a guf, there's a body and a soul. In a larger sense, actually, Chazal tell us that ha-neshama memala saguf, just like the neshama fills the body, af HaKadosh Baruch Hu, also Hashem is memala, he fills up the whole world. So if we want to understand the interrelationship between Hashem and the world, we have to examine the relationship between our neshama and our guf, and that sheds light on the interrelationship between Hashem and the world. Shekemoy, 6 lines from the top of the Perek. Shekemoy shenishmas adam. So just like the neshama of a person, it fills up, the neshama fills up all 248 limbs of the body, from the person's head to the person's foot. This is a fact. Every single part of the body is equally alive. You can't say that the brain is more alive than the toe. They're both alive. And it's both 100, it's like, there's no such thing as half pregnant, there's no such thing as half alive. Either the person's 100% alive, when the person's 100% alive, every single part of the body is 100% alive, and there are no varying degrees. One part is more alive than the other. And then, Rahman al-Islam, when a person passes away, the person's 100% dead, every single part of the body is 100% dead, it's either yes or no. The same thing, that's the way the neshama interrelates with the guf. So the neshama fills all 248 limbs of the body from the head to the foot. The Afal Pikein, and nevertheless, Ikar Mishkana V'Hashra'asa, where is the primary place where the soul resides? Where is its main home base? He b'moichai is in the brain. This is something we're all aware of. The brain is the nerve center, which means that's the primary place where the neshama is, and from there, as we'll see, everything is directed and everything else gets its koyach. So we find something very interesting, and we're already beginning to see a parallel, which is that on one hand, the entire body is alive, the neshama is within the entire body, but at the same time, there's definitely something unique and special about the brain. The neshama is definitely, you might want to say, more present or somehow more present in the brain, which is why it's the most central part of the system and it runs everything else and everything comes from the brain. And as we will see, as the Prak will go along, the same thing is also true with Hashem's relationship with the world. On the one hand, Hashem is everywhere. Just like the neshama is in every part of the body, Hashem is in every single part of the world, without distinction. Yet at the same time, there is that place which we're going to identify as the Kodesh HaKadoshim, which is the brain of the world, and therefore there's some sort of special chayis of the neshama there. Now, as we go on further, we'll understand more what that means. But we're already beginning to see the answers beginning to become clear, that by drawing this analog, this analogy to the human body and its relationship with the neshama. Umeham moyach, from the brain, mispashatas l'chol ha'ivarim. The energy of the neshama, the light of the neshama, it spreads to all the limbs. L'chol eivar mekabel mimena chayis. Every single limb receives its chayis from the brain, from the neshama as it's in the brain. Everyone receives chayis, life, v'koyach haroi loy, and the function which is appropriate for it, lefi mizgoit chunase, according to its constitution and its composition. In other words, ha'ayim, the eye, receives lirais, the eye receives, in addition to the eye, the fact that the eye is alive is because it receives energy from the brain. It also receives the capacity to see from the brain. Via oizen, the ear, lishmoya, it receives from the brain the capacity to hear. The mouth receives the capacity to speak, and the feet receive the capacity to walk. And we see this plainly, that the mind feels anything that goes on in any of the 248 limbs, and anything that occurs to them, and the reason for that is because it is the mucker of the energy, and the energy is constantly going from the brain to the limb, and therefore there's this direct connection between the brain and every limb, and therefore the brain is the nerve center, and that is, everything is registered in the brain. When we say that there's a difference in what the different limbs they receive, the chayis they receive and the koyach, the faculty they receive, it's not min haneshama mitzad atzma umuchusa. That's not from the essence of the soul. Sheyiyah, don't make the mistake of saying that the neshama is muhusa v'atzmusa, that the essence of the neshama is mischalek l'ramach chalakim sheinim, is divided into 248 parts. Mislapshim, and these 248 parts enter b'ramach mekoymes to 248 places in the body, kifi, tziur, chelke, mekoymes, evriya guf, according to the shape and the different locations of the body. That's not the case. Shalafiza nimtza, because if this were to be the case, then it would turn out that atzmusa and muhusa, that the essence of the neshama is mitzuyir, b'tzir, gashmi, has somewhat of a physical shape, and it has 248 parts that correspond to 248 limbs. Udmus v'tavnis, and it has some sort of form and shape, ketavnis haguf chas v'shalom, as is the form of the body. Chas v'shalom, to say that about the neshama. Ella, rather, kula, the entire neshama, is etzem echad ruchni. Two things. Number one, the soul, at its essence, the neshama of every single person is a single etzem, a single essence. It's not divided. It's indivisible. It's pashut umufshet mekol tzir gashmi. It is pashut, meaning it is simple. What does it mean simple? Umufshet mekol tzir gashmi. It is completely removed from any sort of physical form. It's removed from the idea of place or measurement or gvul or limitation, gashmi, of any physical form. Mitzad muhusa v'atzmusa, again, when we're talking about the essence of the neshama. The essence of the neshama, Alter Rebbe is saying over here, when we say that every single part of the body receives its individual energy and function from the neshama. But if we were to look at the essence of the neshama itself, nothing is in there. There are no function. There is no koyach hariyah and koyach. It's not a comprised. It's not a composite of seeing and hearing and understanding and walking and tasting. All these things. That's when the neshama is removed and above and beyond all this. It's what's called pashat, simple. Simple being the opposite of complex. Complex. What makes something complex? Whenever there's something that's complex, it's because there are many different
entities.
Many different elements, right? When something has many different elements, when you say a food is complex, an apple isn't complex. It's just an apple. But when you take a recipe and you put in a lot of things, it becomes complex. A situation is complex when there are many different factors and elements that you have to take under consideration. Sometimes it's very simple what you have to do. It's not complex because there are no factors or elements. So the word pashut or simple means lacking this complexity, lacking these different elements. The atzam of the neshama is pashut, simple, not as in simple-minded, but simple as in it's one entity which is definitionless. It cannot be defined in any which way. And therefore, when it comes to the essence of the neshama, we can't say when you're talking about the essence of the neshama, you can't say that it's in the brain more than it is in the feet. Why? Because it's removed, the essence of the soul is removed from the concept of space, and physical limitations. Okay, so even though that we said over here that there are 248 limbs of the body, and every single limb of the body receives a very, very specific form and type of energy from the neshama, that's not the essence of the neshama. It's not the essence. Rak only shetaryag mine koiches v'chayis klulim ba. There are 613 because there are 248 limbs, and then there's 365 sinews, which equals 613. There are 613 types of functions and types of energy. Klulim ba. Klulim ba. It's hard to translate. The easy way to translate would be to say included within it, but klulim ba means they're included within it in a latent form. We'll explain in a second. B'mehusa v'atzmusa, in its essence of the neshama. Lotzeis el hapoil, they're just waiting. These 613 energies are just waiting to leave this state of potential and to come into actuality. V'hagilui, and to be revealed mahelam, from where they are hidden. Lahachris, and to give life to Ramach Evre, the 248 limbs, Veshasagidim, and 365 sinews, Shabaguf, which is in the body. Ayidei slabshusam benefesh achayunis, by them entering the animal soul, sheyesh lagamkin, Ramach Veshasa koichis v'chayis alalo, the animal soul, which also has these 248 and 365 different faculties and energies. Okay, we spoke a lot of lofty mystical ideas over here. In Chassidus, it talks about that there are certain times. Let's talk about Hashem for a second, and that'll give us a little. We're going to work it backwards this time. As we said, it works both ways. The understanding Hashem from the way we work, and understanding the way we work from the way it is by Hashem. On the one hand, we say Hashem is Echad, Yachid u'Meyuchad. Hashem is absolutely one. One meaning. Can we say that Hashem is a composite of wisdom, understanding, knowledge, strength, compassion, and all these things? If that would be the case, then there is
many.
There are many, right? 5. And Hashem, when we say, Rambam makes this very clear, when we say that Hashem is one, it doesn't just mean that there is one Hashem. There's only one me. But even though there's only one me, I'm a composite of billions and trillions of cells, and a composite of many different feelings and understandings and qualities and weaknesses, right? That's all that make up the person who I am. Hashem is not that way. Hashem is not one made up of many different elements. When we say Hashem is Achdus, and when we say that Hashem is one, it means that Hashem is oneness, absolute oneness. As we said before, Pashut, absolute unity. And He is beyond definition. You cannot define Hashem. You can't say that Hashem is, really you can't say Hashem is a Chacham, even though that Hashem is called a Chacham. That's describing His actions, it's not really describing Him. Now obviously this is not something that we can really envision. Because anytime we think about something, we ascribe it some sort of definition, some sort of classification. It's this and not the other. What makes it this particular quality? But when we're talking about Hashem, all that doesn't apply. Doesn't apply. Hashem is above and beyond any limitation, any definition. Yet at the same time, we know that from Hashem extends everything. Everything that we see, not only in the physical worlds, but also in the spiritual worlds. So Chachma, Bina, Das, all these things, these tools that Hashem uses, where do they come from? If Hashem is Achdus, Hashem is oneness, where do they come from? So Kabbalah and Chassidus explain, and open up your minds a little. I'm not promising you'll understand this fully, but just try to grasp at least the words. That there's the idea, because Hashem is Kol Yochel, because He is omnipotent, so therefore everything exists within Hashem, but only in potential form. Everything, not only everything that we see and we're aware of, but also all those things that we don't see or not aware of and don't even perhaps exist. Any possibility that exists or that doesn't exist, all can come from Hashem, because Hashem is a Kol Yochel. So within Hashem, are all these things contained within Hashem? No. But however, in potential form, they all exist, and therefore everything extends from Hashem, which is really amazing. How the whole plurality of everything that is extends from the absolute unity, although within the essence of Hashem, none of this exists. It only exists there in potential form. It exists there in terms of it can come forth from there, not that it's within Hashem Himself. And the same thing is true regarding the neshama. The neshama itself, the essence of the neshama, and as we said, we're created B'Tselem Elokim, we're created in the form of Hashem, and B'Bsari Echza Alika, we can look at ourselves and understand Hashem. The essence of the neshama is Pashut, there's absolute unity, it's simplicity, it's definitionless. That's the essence of every single neshama. There are 613 different powers that extend from every neshama. They go into the body and they give life and function to the 613 different parts of the body. That's all true, that's all correct. But these things are merely, as in the words the Alter Rebbe says over here, they come out, Lotzeis el hapoyel v'hagilui me'ahelim. They come out into actuality and revelation from utter hiddenness. Because in the actual Etzam HaNeshama, in the actual essence, they're hidden over there. Not they're hidden because they're covered up by something. They're hidden because they're not yet actualized. They're only in potential form.
How could it be potential if it was giving energy to all the Yavorim? That's not potential, that's actual.
Let's continue. In terms of the drawing out of the 613 types of energies and the faculties, Mehelim HaNeshama, from where it's hidden in the Neshama, El Haguf, and to bring them into the body of Lach to make the body alive, Aleha Amru, regarding that it is said, She'ikar Mishkana V'Hashra'asa Shal Hamshacha Zu, the main place where this Hamshacha, this revelation is, V'gilu Izah, Hu Kulei B'moichin Shebereish, is in their brain. Okay. So what do we have over here? There's two parts to the neshama. There's the essence of the neshama. And the essence of the neshama is definitionless, it's formless, it's above and beyond, it's transcendent, and it is everywhere in the body equally. It is as removed from the head as it is from the toe. You can't say the head is more of a keli to the etzem neshama, to the essence of the neshama, than is the toe. They're all equally removed. And the essence of the neshama is everywhere, Obviously, it's in every single part of the body, and it's there in a very transcendent way. From the neshama, from the essence of the neshama, comes forth a package, you might want to say a package of energy. And this package of energy contains all the life and all the faculties which need to be in the body. Which again, it emerges from the etzem haneshama, from the essence, although in the essence it's not there. In the essence it's only there in potential form, but it emerges from there. And this is like a package which contains within it 613 types of energy and life force, and that package of energy is what enters the mind. And that is what you'd call the gilui of the neshama. So from now on we're going to refer to the etzem of the neshama, the essence of the neshama, which is everywhere. And then there is the gilui of the neshama, the revelation of the neshama, which contains within it all the energy that's needed actually to give the functions to every single part of the body. And that part, which was called the gilui of the neshama, that enters the brain.
Is that probably the source of? That would be the source, the Mishkan. And then it's mispashit.
And then, let's keep on going. V'lachein, and therefore, hey mekablam tchila. Therefore, the brain receives first hakoyach v'hachayis haroy lahem, the energy and life which is appropriate for the brain. L'fi mizgam utchunasam, according to the makeup and the composition of the brain, which is which energies are specific to the brain. Shehein chachma bin hadas, that's the intellectual faculties, v'koyach hamachshava, and the capacity for thinking. Kol hashayach l'meichen, all this is appropriate for the brain. So the brain receives, the first thing is the brain receives its energy and its function. That's not all. Also, the entire, all the chayis, all the energy which is drawn from the neshama, which is l'sharei ivarim, which is intended for the other limbs, gamkein klula umlubashas b'meichin shebereish. It enters first. It enters the brain. Visham, and over there in the brain, hu ikra visharsha shel hamshacha zu. That's the primary place where the revelation of the neshama is. Bebechinis gilia oir v'chayis. That's where the revelation of the light and the energy shall call on neshama kula, of the entire neshama, is in the brain. Umisham, and from there, mispashetes ha'ara, comes out a ray l'shar kol evarim, also to all the other limbs. Umekabel kol echad, and every single limb receives koyach v'chayis haro'i loi. It receives the energy and the life which is appropriate for it, kefi mizgayit chunase, according to its composition. So therefore, koyach hari'iyah, the capacity to see, mizgala ba'ayin, is revealed in the eye. The koyach hashmiyah, the capacity to hear, is ba'oizim, is in the ear, v'chulu, etc. V'chol ha'koyches, but all the energies in the entire body, mispashtim mahamoyach. Where do they come from? They come from the brain.
That's the source.
Kenoida, as is known. Ishamu ikar mishkan haneshama kula. That is the main place, resting place of the neshama. Bebechines gilui. Again, the revelation of the neshama, the revealed part, not the transcendent essence of the neshama, which is everywhere, but which is everywhere within the body. Excuse me, but the revealed functions and energies of the neshama all are revealed specifically in the brain. And from there they trickle down to the rest of the body. Shenig l'sham, over there in the brain is revealed klolos achayis, the general life hamispashit mimena, which afterwards extends from it. Rak. So again, the general chayis is in the brain. Rak kechisel shel klolos achayis, individual energies from this general life, so they extend and illuminate from there, from the brain, l'chol evri aguf, to all the limbs of the body. Kedimyan ha'oyer hamispashet. This is similar to the light. Hamispashet umeir mahashemesh, that it comes into, it extends from the sun, l'chadri chadarim, to a room within a room. So just like you have the sun. The sun enters a room. And then if you open up a door to another room, so the sun will enter the other room also. But we all know that the first room will be much, much brighter than the second room. So the same thing is also. The sun shines into the brain. The neshama shines all its energy into the brain. And then every single limb, it's like there's a door opening up from the first room where the gili of the neshama is, which is in the brain. There are doors opening up, and every single limb afterwards receives a small little, the energy which is appropriate for that limb. Va'afilu halev, even the heart, mekabel mahamoyach, also receives from the brain. And therefore, hamoyach shalt alav betul dasi, therefore the brain rules over the heart. Kinis Karlilos mentioned earlier. This is a fascinating idea here. We know that the brain and the heart, are very often at odds with each other. This is a daily experience on a regular basis. You wake up in the morning and the brain says, I want to get up and go to shul and daven, and the heart says, ich will schlafen, I want to sleep. And the same thing is in so many other areas of life. The brain and the heart are always, not always, but very, very often, they have conflicting agendas and desires. The heart means instinct and impulse and emotion, and the brain is calm, relaxed, the knowledge and understanding of what's the proper thing to do. Now, although we can all probably testify from experience that in this battle between the heart and the brain, so the brain doesn't always win. I think we all know that. And sometimes the heart and our emotions and our impulses and instincts get the better of us. However, the Alter Rebbe says in Perek Yud Beis of Tanya in chapter 12, the Alter Rebbe says it doesn't have to be that way. Because essentially the brain always has the power to override the heart. Always has the power. In fact, that's the characteristic, you might want to say, the one characteristic that makes us human. Animals are controlled by their instincts and impulses. Their brains work in the service of their instincts and emotions and impulses and desires. And the human being has the ability to regulate, has the ability to delay gratification, to act in ways that are contrary to what the instinct and impulse and desires are. And if we were to exercise our brain, the brain has the ability. Now sometimes the brain is lazy for whatever reason. We're not going to get into that right now. That's been the discussion of the earlier chapters of Tanya. But the brain always has the ability to overrule and override the desires of the heart, which is moyach shalat ala lev. The brain has the ability to override the heart. And why does the brain have the ability to override the heart? It's because where does the heart receive its energy from? The neshama, right? Because the neshama is in the moyach, and the heart only receives from the moyach. So therefore, here's a case over our psychological reality is a reflection of the spiritual reality. That because spiritually speaking, the neshama is in the brain, and from there it extends to the heart. So that makes for the psychological reality that the brain also always has the ability to be in control of the heart. So we started off the Perek with the question, which is, what does it mean that there's Kedusha in one place more than another place if we know that Hashem is equally everywhere? We did not answer that question yet, but what we have over here, what we see by the Neshama is something very interesting. That on the one hand, the Neshama is in the body equally, similar to the idea of Maloich Ha'aretz Kivayde, and every single part of the body is alive. And if the head were to come and say to the toe, I'm more alive to you, that wouldn't be correct. It's everywhere. But at the same time, there's absolutely something very special and very chashuv about the brain, and that is that the gilui of the neshama, not the essence of the neshama, but the gilui of the neshama, the entire package of energies which the neshama possesses, again in potential form, goes into the brain, and from the brain it extends to everywhere, which is why the brain is the nerve center of the entire body. And as we will see, this is a dynamic that plays itself out everywhere. It plays itself out. Remember last week we spoke about Olam, Shana, and Nefesh. It works itself out in space. which is where Alter Rebbe is going to talk very explicitly in the prakim that coming. What does it mean? What is the place of the Kodesh HaKadoshim? What kind of gilui is over there? But it's also true in terms of time and in terms of people. So, for example, as we spoke last time, if I remember correctly, last week we spoke about the idea that the month of Nisan is like a Rosh Chodesh month. And this is something which Chassidus points out, that Rosh Chodesh, which is the beginning of the month, so how would you say beginning of the month on Lashon HaKodesh? Tchilas HaKodesh. Not Rosh Chodesh. Sorry?
They're saying Rosh Chodesh means the head of it.
The head of the month. And same thing with Rosh Hashanah. You would say Tchilas Hashanah, or if you want to copy like say New Year's, you would say Shana Chadasha, a new year. What's Rosh Hashanah? Okay, so you could say it's all poetic. It's like the head is the beginning. But no, it's not. It's actually not. It's called Rosh Hashanah because it is Rosh Hashanah. It is the head of the year. And Rosh Chodesh is called Rosh Chodesh because it's the head of the month. Meaning that just like the head contains within it all the energy which is within the entire body, and from there it extends, but the head itself obviously is very, very chashuv, and that's why we have to take good care of our head. No, I don't know if anyone here is a doctor. Anyone is a doctor?
Medical doctor?
A medical doctor, yeah. You know, you can't compare neurosurgery to a surgery to take out a ingrown toenail. An ingrown toenail, you're going to make a little. Okay, beseder.
20 seconds. Depends on how petite it is.
Okay.
To make a mistake.
You make one tiny little thing wrong. Rachman al-Islam, Chas v'Shalom in the brain. And you shut down this function, you shut down that function because it's the nerve center of the entire body. The Frierdiker Rebbe speaks about how important it is that the 48 hours of Rosh Hashanah, we know it says in Shulchan Aruch, better not to sleep, you don't want your mazel to sleep, but the Frierdiker Rebbe speaks about the importance of saying Tehillim throughout the entire time, and not, you know what's in Shulchan Aruch talks about not speaking Dvarim B'Teilim. It's like brain surgery. If you realize that every single moment of Rosh Hashanah impacts the whole year. In other words, because the whole year receives its chayis from the Rosh Hashanah. That's how special and chashiv Rosh Hashanah is. And when we talk about in Rosh Hashanah, really what we're doing is we're drawing down the energy for the entire year. That's what we're doing in Rosh Hashanah. By the way, Yom Kippur is also called Rosh Hashanah. As I believe in Tanakh, it's called Rosh Hashanah also. During Rosh Hashanah, Yom Kippur, we're drawing down energy for the entire year into that day, and from that day we get a little for every single day. So it's not just that we're davening to Hashem. It's a very interesting understanding. Most people go to Shalom, they say, Hashem, please give me a good month of Iyar. Give me tax season's coming in April 15th, and I want a good tax refund. And I want in the summer I want to have this. We're actually davening to get everything now. We're not davening to Hashem and say, please give me something in 2 months or 3 months. We're actually drawing down everything on Rosh Hashanah itself, and from there it extends, like from the head extends to all the limbs of the body. From Rosh Hashanah it extends also to every single part of and that's what makes Rosh Hashanah so special. The same thing is when it comes to Rosh Chodesh. Rosh Chodesh is the exact same thing. It's not the exact same thing in a smaller way, but actually what happens is the energy then on Rosh Hashanah becomes divided into 12 parts, and then every part enters the head of the month, Rosh Chodesh, and from there it extends to the entire month. Rosh Chodesh is also a very important day.
How come by weeks we don't say Rosh Hashanah?
So even though we don't say Rosh Hashanah, but there's a concept. The concept of Shabbos is similar to that, which is that the Zohar tells us that on Shabbos, my name is Baruch in Kulu Yomin, that all the days of the week receive the bracha from Shabbos. So a similar concept, that Shabbos in a way is like the head from which the week draws. Because it's not so, apparently that's not such an emphasis on Shabbos. But there is that idea in a small way on Shabbos.
Shabbos makes the week, really.
Right. Well, Shabbos, there's 2 parts. Shabbos receives from the whole week and it gives the whole week. But there is that element in Shabbos. I don't know if it's the primary element of Shabbos, which maybe that's why it's not called that way, but there is that element. Which in fact, this is one of the reasons why that when a chassan, before the Shabbos, before the chasana gets an aliyah to the Torah. Now what if
Didn't get an aliyah.
What if someone's getting married on Thursday and it's Shavuos on Monday? Can you get Aliyah on Monday? Why not? It's closer. Get the offer for Monday? No, it has to be Shabbos. What's up with Shabbos? Because the whole brachas of the week comes from Shabbos. And that's why you get the Aliyah Dafka on Shabbos. And it's actually a combination of two different factors here. All the brachas in the world come from Torah. That we'll learn as we go along in the prakim. Because really the Torah is the head of everything. But all the brachas come from Torah. And all the brachas of the week come from Shabbos. So on Shabbos, the chassan goes up and receives an aliyah from the Torah, is drawing all the brachas from the Torah into the entire week, including into the day of the wedding and into the entire marriage. Now, by the way, the same is true with every Yom Tov, but in the Yom Tov it's in a different way. Every Yom Tov is a Rosh Hashanah of sorts, meaning that every Yom Tov there's a certain energy which makes that Yom Tov unique. No two Yom Tovim are the same. We've spoken about this many times. That there's a joke that they say that every Jewish holiday is the same. They wanted to kill us, God saved us, let's eat. Yeah. Now, so what makes one Yom Tov different from another? One Yom Tov we eat matzah and butter. Another Yom Tov we have hamantashen. Another Yom Tov we have blintzes, right? We have kreplach, honey cake, whatever. But it's always about the food, right? So we eat. But and the truth is that's the Goyish model of a holiday, meaning to say that Goyim say every single time when we have something that we're happy about, so we celebrate. But the celebration is always the same. Okay, but sometimes you have turkey and sometimes you have chveis. But at the end of the day, ultimately, whatever happened 1,000 years ago, we're happy. So it's an excuse to celebrate today. We take off a day, we celebrate. It's all the same. Yom Tovim is not that way at all. Yom Tovim, every single Yom Tov is different. Why? Because every single Yom Tov is a different energy, entirely different energy. And no two Yom Tovim are the same. For example, on Yom Tov of Pesach, what is the energy? The energy is one of Cherus, one of liberation. The Yidden went out of Mitzrayim on Pesach, as we discussed many times. Why? Because on Tesvav Nisan, on the Tesvav Nisan 3,300 and some years ago, there was that energy of Cherus in the air, and that pulled the Yidden out of Mitzrayim, that pushed the Yidden out of their slavery and out of their place of limitation and restriction. And every single year, that energy reappears on Pesach. And what we're doing during the 7-8 days of Pesach is we are stocking up that energy for the entire year until the next year comes again. So Pesach is a Rosh Hashanah of sorts. Different than Rosh Hashanah is when we get the energy for everything, for the entire year. Yeah. But every Yom comes Shavuos, the idea obviously is Torah. We're getting the energy of Torah, we're being mekabel the Torah for the entire year. And that energy takes us until the next year again. On Yom Kippur, Tshuva, or whatever. Every single Yom Tov has its theme. So again, and just like the brain has condensed energy, which then afterwards spreads to the entire body, every single Yom Tov receives on that Yom Tov. What we're doing is we are opening ourselves up to this incredible condensed energy, just like the brain has the condensed energy of the entire body within it. We're opening ourselves up to this condensed energy, which then filters out through every single day. If you look at Rabbi Shmuel says, right, the 13 middos the Torah is nidrash. So then you have the klal uprat, right? Klal uprat, and that's a rule in general, not only in Torah. It's true in Torah also. There's klal uprat. Torah first comes in condensed form, which is chumash. Actually, it's even more than that. Torah really starts. The most condensed form of Torah is the Aleph of Anochi. The whole energy of the entire Torah is in the Aleph of Anochi. And then it's less condensed in the word Anochi, then in the Dibra Anochi, then in Anochi Lo Yilecha, Aser Sadibris, Chumash, Torah Shebal Peh. And it keeps on going. Klal Prat, Klal Prat, Klal Prat, more condensed, less condensed, and spreading out. Everything, and also in terms of the divine energy as it enters the world, all divine energy enters in a way of Klal Uprat. First it comes Klal, which means everything together as one Klal, as one unit, and then Prat, then comes out the details from it in all those ways. So what makes, when we say a certain day is holy, whether it's a Shabbos, whether it's a Yom Tov, whether it's Rosh Hashanah or Yom Kippur, I mean Hashem is present every single day, yeah. but there are many different energies that come from Hashem. And on certain days, we're getting a condensed amount of incredible energy, which then afterwards filters out in a smaller way to the rest of the days, what you call the regular days. That's what makes one day holier than another. And every Yom Tov is a different type of holiness because it's a different type of energy. And the same thing is also true in terms of nefesh. The same thing is also true in terms of people. As we mentioned, that there are certain people that are holier than others. Now, some people are holier than others because they worked harder. They learned more Torah. They did more mitzvahs. So what does it mean that I'm holier? I have less klippah, I have less, I mean me. That one person has less klippah and less averis than the other person. He's holier. But then there's a different type of holiness, which is, and we know that the word Rebbe is the acronym for Rosh B'nai Yisrael, the head of Klal Yisrael. And now we can begin to appreciate a little what that means. Rosh B'nai Yisrael, like Rosh Hashanah. We don't call the Rebbe the, I don't know.
Tchilat.
What? Tchilat B'nai Yisrael. No, but it's saying, how would you say Aluf? Or the truth is, in Hebrew, already you have Rosh Hashanah, you have that Rosh. But the word Rosh is, nothing is by mistake. Rosh B'nai Yisrael means Rosh B'nai Yisrael. What that means is that everything that we're saying up until now, the way it is in the Neshama, and the same thing that with the way it is in the days of the year, and as we'll continue Mir Hashem in the coming weeks in Tanya, the way it is also in all of creation, as we shall see in space, the same thing isn't true in terms of Klal Yisrael. As we know that Klal Yisrael is compared to a koima shlema, to a complete. A koima is a gestalt, a koima is a body, one large form.
Structure.
As the Arizal says, that all of Klal Yisrael is one body. And the Arizal says some of us are our fingers, and some of us are toes, and some of us are feet, and some of us are part of the heart. We're more emotional. Actually, whichever part of the larger part of Klal Yisrael that you are, it has to do with your nature. And then there is the Rashi B'nai Yisrael. They're the heads. They're the heads of Klal Yisrael. And heads of Klal Yisrael doesn't only mean, this is very important, it doesn't only mean that they know more Torah, or that they daven a little bit better, but actually they are the Reish. Through them comes the Chayis for all of Klal Yisrael. And if you don't mind, I want to read for you. Just give me a second over here. Sorry, I should have done this beforehand. Where's Moshe when we need him?
Moshe.
He's coming down.
You should have announced it on the mic. Look for.
I need either a Sefer Amarim Tafshin Yud from the Frierdiker Rebbe, or either a Skedish from the Rebbe Chilad Gimel, which I have.
Found it.
Oh, I didn't see it. So the Frierdiker Rebbe, the previous Rebbe, passed away. He was nostalgic on Yud Shvat of Tavshan Yud, which is guess what, February, right? February of 1950. Yeah. So a few months later, the Rebbe sent out a letter to all the Chassidim. It's actually the Rebbe was the publisher of Kahas. Kahas is the Lubavitch publishing house. Yeah, okay, it's covered over here. But yeah, it's a. So the previous Rebbe put the Rebbe in charge of Kahas, and part of the Rebbe's job was that he would print the Mamarim, the Chassidic discourses of the previous Rebbe. So the Frierdiker Rebbe would give out Mamarim to print for different Yom Tovim. I think we spoke about this earlier this year, the Mamir Basi Lagani, which previous Rebbe gave out for his yard site. And the Rebbe continued this practice also after the Histalkus of the Frierdiker Rebbe. And in advance of special days, he would print some Mamarim of of the previous Rebbe. But now, once the previous Rebbe passed away, the Rebbe also, he would open up, in other words, in the beginning of the Kunters, in the beginning of the booklet, he would write a letter as a way of a preface to the Maimer. So this letter, which the Rebbe writes, again, it was the preface to this Maimer, and the letter is dated Gimel Tammuz Tavshin Yud, 3rd of Tammuz of 1950. And the Rebbe says, Baruch Hashem. So he starts the letter. Rabim hamechapsim umevarim mailus v'gedulas nasi Chabad b'chlal. There's so many people who are looking and searching and trying to explain the greatness of the Chabad Rebbes in general. Unesidirenu, and the Nasi of our generation, who kveit kedushas mer v'chami admur hakam, my father-in-law, the Rebbe, bifrat especially. So when people try to explain the greatness, binyanim shoinim, they say different things. They talk about him as the Isha Mesiras Nefesh. We know that there's phenomenal Mesiras Nefesh that the Friedrich Rebbe had in Russia and Poland and then in America. Goin, a Baal Midois, Tzadik, Baal Ruach HaKodesh, Melumad Benisim, someone who was Melumad Benisim, V'oid, etc., etc. The Godlu B'Yesher Shvacham Elon. The truth is, the Rebbe says, all these praises are very great. Especially al pi agdara b'teres achsidus, especially when you learn chsidus and you find out ma'u mesiras nefesh. You know what really mesiras nefesh is, or ma'u goyin. You know really what a goyin is. So then you can even appreciate much more these different praises that people are saying. The Rebbe says about my father-in-law, the Friedrich Rebbe. Ubechol zeh, the Rebbe says, and with all that, ha'ikar chaser kan. People are missing the boat. They're missing the main thing. V'noisef al zeh shu ikar be'etzem. Besides the fact that that's really the main thing. It's especially important because it's so relevant. Especially to us, the Chassidim and those who are connected to the Rebbe. And what is the main thing? Mashahu Nasi, the Nasi Chabad. The fact that he is the Nasi, the leader of the generation, and Nasi Chabad. Why? Because Nasi B'chlal Nikra Reish. Reish Alfei Yisrael. The Nasi is called the Reish, the head of the Yidden. So the Nasi is the head and the brain of Klal Yisrael. And from him, that's where everyone Pashat receives their chayis from the Nasi, from the Reish. And therefore, through connecting to the Nasi, to the Reish, as Dr. Rebbe writes, by the way, in Tanya, in Perik Beis, Yidden are connected to their source above. So the Rebbe says all these different praises and different things are all beautiful. But in a way you could say all these things. A person's agoyin, a Baal Mesiras Nefesh, a Baal Midas Tov. These are all things. I have, you have, I have a little more, you have a little more, I can work in it. The Reish B'nai Yisrael is something else entirely. The Reish B'nai Yisrael, it's not just that he knows a little more Torah, or he has a little more Mesiras Nefesh, or he has better Midas. It's the Neshama is a different type of Neshama. It's a neshama of a reish, the neshama of a head, and therefore, as Chazal say, and Dr. Rebbe quotes it in Perik Beis Tanya, that it says that l'davka by you have to connect to Hashem, and the Chazal say v'chiyavshir l'davik b'shchina. How is it possible to be davik b'shchina? And the answer is to be davik in Tamid Chachamim, because they're the Rashi Alpha Yisrael. Why is it to connect to Hashem? You need to connect to the Reish, you need to connect to the Rebbe. The reason why, again, is because that is the makar of your chayis. It's not just, I learn, the Rebbe learns, but the Rebbe knows a little more than me. So I'm here, the Rebbe, no. Everything I have, all the chayis that I get, just like the foot can't say, okay, there's me, there's the head. Okay, maybe the head's a little smarter than me. No, everything the foot has, all the chayis the foot had is from the Reish. The same thing is also in terms of the relationship with the Reish B'nai Yisrael. And that's why, so one of the big things that Chassidus came along and brought is the idea of iskashus and dveikos in tzaddik, understanding that tzaddikim are removed from us qualitatively, not quantitatively. Quantitatively means I have an IQ of 120 and he has IQ of 130. I learned shots once, he learned shots 100 times. Qualitatively means that the condensed energy is in the Rebbe, and from the Rebbe it extends to all Chassidim. And the closer I connect to the Rebbe, the closer I am to the source of my energy and connection to my energy. Now, we're all Yidden. Everyone's a Yid, whether a person's connected or not connected. In terms of the essence, In terms of the essence of Hashem, every Yid is connected to the essence of Hashem. But in terms of the Gilui, in terms of the revelation, as we're saying over here, where is the revelation of the Neshama? Is in the brain. Where is Gili Alakus? Where is revelation of the Shekhinah? Is Dafka by the Reish. And Hashgacha Pratis that we're talking about this now. So first of all, this idea of the connection between Klal Yisrael and the Reish is something which we just saw in Purim. That, the Haman, what was the reason for Haman's downfall? So the Gemara says that he thought that was when Moshe Rabbeinu died, was in the month of Adar. So he got all excited. And the Gemara says, they didn't know that Moshe Rabbeinu was born. Now Haman was a smart man, and he understood this idea of Reish. He understood that Moshe is the Reish of Bnei Yisrael. So the month that Moshe Rabbeinu passes away, it's not just an individual thing from Moshe. He's our Reish. So that's an unlucky sign for the whole body. If it's unlucky for the head, it's unlucky for the body. But V'loi Havayada, he didn't know that it's Moshe Rabbeinu's birthday. And as we know, every single month has a mazel. The mazel of, for example, the mazel of Adar is fish. The mazel of Nisan, I think, is flat, right? Right. The mazel of the month you are born is particularly strong for you. Very strong mazel, the day that, when you're born. And since Moshe Rabbeinu's mazel is strong in Adar, because he was born in Adar, so all the Yidden, because he's the Reish, and everything receives from the Reish, so therefore the mazel of all the Yidden is strong during the month of Adar, and therefore it was that foiled Haman's plan. And what's interesting is, when we're talking about a birthday, the Rebbe said that we should all celebrate our birthdays because your birthday is your personal Rosh Hashanah. Think about that. Now you understand your Rosh Hashanah in a different way. That means that even there's a general Rosh Hashanah. The day you were born is the day when you were given all your neshama and your energy was given to you. And as we know in Yiddishkeit, everything reoccurs on a yearly basis. Yamil and Niskarnim Venasim. So therefore, your birthday, and obviously we're not talking about your Goyish birthday, but your Jewish birthday is a very significant day. It's a very important day. Just like in a small way, it's like Rosh Hashanah. It's an important day for you because that's the year, that's the day when you draw down the general chayis for yourself. That it happened many years ago. It happens every single year again. So we have this on Zayin Adar was the Rosh Hashanah of the Rosh Bnei Yisrael. That's what was Zayin Adar. It's the birthday, which is the Rosh Hashanah of Moshe Rabbeinu, is the Rosh Bnei Yisrael. So since it was such a special day, a Rosh Hashanah for Moshe, a day of condensed, and therefore the month is a special month. So therefore also that was brought about a Yeshua of Hatzalah for all of Klal Yisrael. And where I'm going with this is that in Mirza Hashem, on Tuesday, this Tuesday, Yud Aleph Nisan, is an incredibly important day for all people in our generation because it is the birthday of the Rebbe. The Rebbe's 117th birthday. And since Basar Reisha Gufa Azul, this is what we're talking about all the time, the idea of the Reish. So if this is the Rebbe's Rosh Hashanah, and the Rebbe is the Reish, and the Rebbe is our head, so it's a Rosh Hashanah for everyone. It's a very, very special day. It's a day to connect to our head as I'm talking about, as in the Reish B'nai Yisrael. And the Rebbe spoke about that, the way to connect to him. The Rebbe the Rebbe spoke about the quotes the Frierdiker Rebbe, that the way to connect to a tzaddik, the way to connect to the Reish, is to learning the Torah of the tzaddik. That's how you connect to the tzaddik, is learning the Torah of the tzaddik, and through following the instructions of the tzaddik. So on this upcoming Tuesday, so it's an appropriate time, and the Rosh Hashanah of the Rosh Bnei Yisrael, and therefore we're all part of that. We're all the body that follows. Is to take a few minutes and to take out something from the Rebbe, Torah from the Rebbe, whether it's a sikha, whether it's a maamar, whether it's a letter, whether it's a yom. If you need any help, I'm sure Moshe can help you to find you a.
We have Farbrengen next door at 8:30.
Farbrengen is important, but also during that day to learn something from the Rebbe.
Monday night.
And also to do something what the Rebbe wants, and we all know what the Rebbe wants. The Rebbe wants that every single one of us should find another Yid and do a mitzvah with another Yid. So this Tuesday, every single one of us should find one Yid. You want to find more, by the way, that's great. But at least one Yid, put on tefillin with that person, ask him if he can give tzedakah. Another big mitzvah that Rebbe encouraged is shmura matzah. Maybe Tuesday to get a pound of shmura matzah, and any friend that you have who's a Yid, give him a matzah and say this is for the Seder. The Rebbe strongly encouraged that every Yid should have shmura matzah for the Seder, at least for the Seder. So, again, this Tuesday, it's Mamash Hashgacha Pratis, how the Tanya today almost leads into this. We have a new appreciation for what it means Hareish based on what we're talking about in this in Perek. A special day Tuesday. Let's take advantage of it and reconnect to Hareish. And Emir Hashem, this it's the Rebbe's 117th birthday, which means that we begin saying Kapitel Kuf Yud Ches. The Chassidim say the Rebbe's Kapitel, which is Kol Rina v'Yeshua B'alei Tzadikim Yimin Hashem Yisachoel which Yitaki B'Zoichet. This year and this Pesach to have Taka Kol Rina v'Yeshua B'alei Tzadikim and Yimin Hashem Yisachoel Yimin Hashem Remeima. A caution for Eilich and Pesach, everybody.